Welcome back to the Budget Sommelier, where we review wines that don't break the bank. I'm your host, Luke, and today we are reviewing 14 Hands Winery's Hot to Trot Smooth Red Blend. That's right, folks, you heard that right. Smooth Red Blend. So we like to give a bit of the background to each wine on the show, just to have some context. Not everybody knows what a Merlot is, not everybody knows what a Cabernet is, not everybody knows what the Champagne grapes are. So we like to give a little, background on what the wine makeup actually is. And so this is a smooth red blend. Now you've heard of red blends, and red blends are combinations of several different grape types. Shiraz and Cabernet are quite common, but this is a smooth red blend. So when you make wine, right, you have the image of the French people stepping on the grapes. That's largely correct. Oftentimes that's done with industrial presses these days. But a smooth red blend is an additional manufacturing step. The smooth red blend, they actually have to take a grape to a belt sander, and they sand the skin off the grapes before they put them in the press. This is how you get that coveted smoothness in the bottle. They actually sand the grapes. So we're going to see some of that. 14 Hands Winery is from the Columbia Valley in Washington. There's another concept in wine known as terroir. Terroir, so it's territory in French. And it is the flavor notes that come out of the ground, the minerals, the water, these sorts of things, the heat of the sun. Is it a hot region? Is it a cooler region? Can they grow year-round? Is it in northern hemisphere? Is it southern hemisphere? This is the terroir. And so when you hear that this is a wine from the Columbia Valley, which is essentially discount Napa Valley on the west. There's a lot of great wine producers out there. 14 Hands, again, this is the Budget Sommelier, so we're not reviewing the best of the best. 14 Hands is sort of like, it's your mom's brand. It's we're having the ladies over later, so this isn't like going to be a mind-blowing wine. I don't think so, at least. But it's like a ladies over sort of wine, and that's why in Columbia Valley, you're thinking quality, you're thinking class. But this is not from a specific one vineyard. This is probably from multiple different vineyards that 14 Hands owns. So, saying this is a Columbia Valley wine is like saying I'm from Detroit. When I tell you I'm from Detroit, there's something in your mind that you're thinking of. You're thinking of the mean streets of 8 Mile. You're thinking Van Dyke. You're thinking of the city airport. You're thinking burnt down buildings and Gratiot, right? Now, I'm from Detroit in the sense that I'm 45 minutes from the city center, or I was when I was living there. I'm not actually from Detroit, and in the same way, this wine's not actually from the Columbia Valley. It is, but it's not, because that tells you something, and that doesn't actually tell us anything with this wine. At least I don't think so. So more about the 14 Hands Winery. When you go on their website, there's a big sign that says, "Buck the norm." Buck the norm. They really went all in with the horse theming. So apparently 14 Hands so the name origin is measuring a modest 14 hands in height. A hand is the relative width of one's palm. These tenacious horses would travel down the hills every day to drink from the mighty Columbia River and graze along the riverbank, then retreat to cool off at night. So that's where the 14 Hands names comes from. I was looking at the bottle and I was thinking, is this like a derby? Oh, we're going down to, they're having the horse races in Lancashire. I think we're going to go up, we're going to take the family up to Lancashire to see the horse. It's like, is that sort of the wine they're going for? Or is it like hey partner, after you get done wrangling the cows, and dealing with the bucks and the mustangs and the colts, you want to settle down to a nice glass of Cabernet. It was one of those things, but it was actually my wife who clarified, no, this is horse girl wine. This is the crazy lady that you met in college, maybe a few of them, and they all rode horses, and this is the wine that they're drinking because it's cheap, and as their marketing copy says, with the fruit from hardy vines, our winery handcrafts big, fruit-forward reds and crisp, juicy whites. They also make smooth. They don't talk about the sanding here, which they should, because that's a very interesting process. Crisp, juicy whites that pay tribute to the legend of the region. Like the untamed horses we honor with our name, our wild and wonderful wines. Wild, that's alliteration. Do you think that the marketing guy, the graduate of Boise State marketing major who wrote wild and wonderful wines. He probably thought that that was the most clever thing that could be done. Wild, wonderful wine. That's a beautiful alliteration. And it packed a lot of character into each bottle. So again, today we're reviewing Hot to Trot. I saw this in the store and I'm like, it was $7.99. I saw this in the store. I was like, Hot to Trot, that's hilarious. And I never heard this expression before, but I didn't know. So, Hot to Trot, the etymology of the phrase, it began as a common phrase people used to talk about someone. Now, this is a family show, but maybe don't have the kids watch this one. It began as a common phrase people used to talk about someone who was more than ready for sex. It began in the early 1900s and derived from American jive talk, drawing from the idea of a horse eager to get going. So yes, Hot to Trot, the etymology of that phrase, that is an early example of African American vernacular English, and 14 Hands Winery has decided that the idea of a horse ready to mount was what they wanted to advertise their smooth red blend. Which that doesn't look. I'm not a farmer. I don't spend much time on the farm, but a horse in heat does not bring the idea of smooth to my mind, frankly. Oh, and also very funny. This also comes in a can, so if a bottle's too fancy for you, you can get Hot to Trot with a can of wine. They have a lot of other offerings. 14 Hands does Run Wild and Stampede. Why you're gonna sit down for a glass of wine or even a bottle and stampede? I'm gonna get stampeded by what I'm drinking later. I just think that's ridiculous. They also make a white Cabernet that looked absolutely disgusting. And like all West Coast wineries, they make a buttery Chardonnay for the white women. We love the white women, but that's the buttery Chardonnay. That is a white woman type of wine. So the bottle tasting notes. So this is what the non-budget sommelier, this is the expensive sommelier at the winery on staff. This is what he says, or she. This is what he or she says we should be tasting. Aromas of red fruits, that's extremely specific, with smooth flavors, smooth again, it's because of the sanding, of cherry and black raspberry. Wow. Yeah, they were telling us all of their wine is extremely fruit forward, so we're going to have to test that out. And there is writing on the foil. Of course, you have 14 Hands up top, and then alongside, again, going with the 14 Hands measurement thing, it says, the measure of great wine. So let's get right into it. Once again, we're using our patented foil remover. Kind of just scratch until it breaks, and then you kind of just rip this off. So we remove the foil. Oh, this is a corked wine. Again, it says 14 Hands of the cork inside the bottle. Get this open. So this is a Good Cook corkscrew. You've seen me use it past episode and this episode. You get this at any discount rural country grocery store for about $8. It does the job. You don't have to use keys or one of the cheaper ones. Bottle sound was horrible. That's not even a 2. That's a 1. If there was a below a 1, I would give it below a 1. But there's not below a 1. So we dispose of the cork. Oh, it says again, the measure of great wine on the cork. Oh, to set the scene today, I lit some Incenso de Santa Fe incense because I just really wanted to capture the majestic rolling redwood forests of the West Coast when I had this wine. So we're burning some cedar incense. It smells wonderful in the studio today. Again, we have our crystal stemmed wine glass because we are enjoying a red wine. We're going to drink it out of the proper glass. So let's get started. So we pour it out. Start the oxygenation process. We're bringing the oxygen in. We have a very solid purple, deep purple color on this one. There's a little bit of red on the edges, but it's really mostly purple. So let's get that scent. Yeah, there's not much strong scent on this one. It smells very weak. This is a weak smell. That could be due to the fact that the whole house I'm in now smells like a burning forest. But I actually think that this is probably just a weak smell. Remember, we don't know our Zin pairings yet. Stay tuned for that series. So I'm going to dispose of our Spearmint 6. Okay, so 14 Hands Winery's Hot to Trot. Let's try it out. I don't think they sanded enough skin off these grapes. That was not very smooth. Yeah. It's got like that. Ugh. It's dry in the worst possible ways, where it's like you just licked something off of a pole. Oh, that is rancid. That's one of the worst things I've ever had. Well, that's not true. It's bad. I would not buy this wine again. We should do a bottle taste. We'll see if there's any difference coming out of the this is more of an olive colored bottle rather than green. Bottle taste did not help. Bottle taste did not help. This is a horrible wine. This was not worth $7.99. All the marketing copy just makes me feel like a fool for reading it. It should just say bad wine. This is bad wine. The measure of the wine is bad. That's what their marketing copy should be. This tastes like horse piss. Maybe that's not what they're telling us with the horse. Is the horse got hot to trot and pissed in the bottle, and then they put a cork in it and sold it to me at my grocery store. I think that's what happened. I'm rating this undrinkable. This is our first undrinkable wine. Absolutely horrible. Do not buy this. Thank you again for tuning into the Budget Sommelier. Please like and subscribe, and comment what wine you'd like to see reviewed next on the show. Our next wine is actually a recommendation from one of our commenters, so stay tuned for that next time. And make sure to tune in next time when we review another wine that won't break the bank.